Hey everybody, this is Rob Rell, and thank you for jumping on this Periscope and for watching this video if you're watching it later on my blog or on Facebook or wherever it happens to end up, YouTube even. But thank you very much. And what I want to know today is, what are you focused on? Really, you have to answer that question for you. What do you focus on each and every day, every hour of the day, every minute of the day? Are you present with who you are and what you're doing and the decisions that you're making? Not only the decisions you're making in the outward world, but the decisions you're making for yourself inwardly. What are you deciding about your emotions? What are you deciding about what you're going to eat? You know, a lot of us are on autopilot in those decisions on a day-to-day basis, but we let that drive us rather than driving our life where we want it to be. And if you really want to make big changes in your life, you can make big changes by being present and setting a direction and focusing on where you want to go in that direction. So what really came up for me today is those of you that saw the live post that I made yesterday, I got a lot of great comments. It was so funny. I had one of my friends saying he loved how excited I was in the video just over the fact that I had a cleaning crew come in and clean my house, and my house was actually clean from top to bottom. I love that. And it's not just so much, the message there wasn't about cleaning the house. The message was about take those things that you don't need to be doing. If you're a business person, you can make more money using your time in business than you can cleaning your house, was really the message. But what came from that is I was looking around this morning at some of the little details that they did. Folding the towels in a way, I can't think of another term for it other than like a hotel style, that it looked really kind of nice and posh and things like that around the house. It was great. And I was just noticing in my head that I was celebrating these little things around my house. And so I took a moment to remember that and consciously note celebrating. And this is what really brought the point to mind about what we focus on. We tend to focus on being critical of ourselves, being critical of other people. We focus on all of the negativity in the world. And then we sit back and we wonder why our life sucks. And we wonder why bad things come to us. And if you know the law of attraction, it's the law of attraction. Is what you focus on comes into your life. What you focus on is going to manifest. What you think about is going to come back to you. What you do is going to come back to you. All of those things, and I'll do a longer training, actually. It's like I plan to do a longer, like 1 hour training in the future on this process of from idea to thought to action, et cetera, and how that kind of plays out. They're all part of that same lineage. But when it comes to focus, you really need to be conscious of what you're focusing on each and every minute of the day. And you also need to think in that focus, find those moments in your day that you can celebrate. We don't celebrate enough. We get weirded out just by being ourselves, and like you finish a big project at work, or you finish a big project in your business, or even a little milestone in your business. Celebrate it. Don't just sit there and go, yes. Get up and dance and wave your arms around, turn on your favorite song and dance around the house. Make your dog think you're weird. Make your kids and your wife think you're weird, or your husband think you're weird. But do it. Learn to break out, because when you celebrate those things, it really makes that next obstacle really easier. Not easy, but easier to get through. Think about that for a little bit. It's like if you know that there's another celebration down the road and you focus on that next celebration for that next goal, you are going to rock it out of the park. You're not going to be worried about looking weird to people. You know, it's like we've seen movies, right? You've seen movies where somebody's like in the grocery store and something really good happens, and all of a sudden they go, yes, yes, yes. And everybody around the store is looking at them and going, oh my God, that guy's effing nuts. But it's true. It's like, who really cares? You don't know those people. And even the people you do know, they're going to see you climbing, and they're going to appreciate you for that. And they're going to see the example you're setting. Your kids are going to see the example you're setting and see the joy that you're in. The flip side of that coin is where we tend to live, where society tends to live every single day. And that's in focusing on the misery in our lives. And just stop it. It's like, Things happen, as they say, shit happens, excuse my French, but it does. Stuff is going to come to you. Bad stuff as well as good stuff is going to come to you. Celebrate the good stuff, the bad stuff, take note, learn the lessons, and move on. Stop living in the past. As Robert Hollis would say, get rid of that past DVD out of your head. Pull that out of your head. And that's another one I've got coming up for you. There will be another Periscope I'm going to do in the future. I've got it on my list. I'm going to start, you can tell, I'm going to start doing more and more of these things. But I'm going to teach everybody a technique that you can start to delete the files on that past DVD and really serve yourself and serve the community and serve the world in a much, much bigger way. But that's the thing. That's two sides of the same coin of focus. Focus on the good things. Don't focus on the bad things. Leave that side of the coin alone. Learn your lessons and move on. It's an amazing, amazing thing that you can do for yourself. You will lighten your load. Your days will be much happier. Put that together with doing your gratitude journal, doing your gratitude meditations in the morning. And if those of you that follow my Facebook blog and have seen the posts in the last few months, you know that for me, the gratitude journal is just the first part. The next part is to sit with each of those gratitude moments and meditate on them for just a couple of minutes. Really bring them into your heart and breathe them into your heart and breathe them into existence. The more grateful you are, the more you're going to get back in gratitude from the universe. I promise you, trust me, it does happen. I'm living proof. It's like my life is just taking off right now because of the things that I've chosen to focus on. Doing personal development, working with the right people, keeping the right people in my life, being a happy person, smiling at people as you walk down the street and saying hello, whether they say hello or smile back at you. But all of that stuff plays into it. So let's get back to the focus thing. I want to tell you a couple of stories about focus that really will help to bring it home. So a few years ago, the Government Traffic Administration did a study on people that had, on people's accidents, right? And we're talking about specifically on accidents that are on these lonely country roads, right? You go down this lonely country road and there's nobody for miles, there's no houses for miles, maybe trees on one side and pastures on the other, or pastures and trees on both sides, whatever. But we've all been there, or most of us I know have been there. So you're making this trek. Well, what they found out is that there's a large percentage, and I don't recall what the percentage is, but there's a large percentage of accidents on these lonely country roads that happen as a result of hitting a telephone pole. Now think about this. It's like you have this why is it that we have this large percentage of accidents happening on these lonely country roads that you have a telephone pole, every 100 yards or 200 yards, and the telephone pole is a foot thick? You have 100 yards for open space and a foot to hit a telephone pole. So what they find out, you start digging into the psychology of this. They started interviewing people and they were asking people, well, what was going through your mind? What were you thinking about when you hit the telephone pole? It's like, well, the funny thing is, and this is the common story, the common thread. The funny thing is, I was trying not to hit the telephone pole. I was doing everything in my life not to hit the telephone pole. What's the other phrase for that? I was focusing on the telephone pole. And that's what happens. That's the power of focus. What you focus on, you will hit. And I just saw how my friend and partner and my brother, Robert Hollis, just joined. Thank you, Robert, for joining. You're just in time because I'm going to get ready to tell the other part of the story that I knew that you would enjoy and that you would appreciate. But it's like they found out that a large percentage of these accidents happen because people were focused on the telephone pole. So let's turn it around a little bit, and a story that I've heard from one of my other mentors, from Mr. Tony Robbins, one of the master mentors of the universe, I would say. But Tony talks about this time when he went out with a NASCAR instructor to learn how to drive a NASCAR car. And while he was out there, one of the messages the master driver told him is that when you're driving and you get out of control, and you will get out of control, that's what happens in life. You will get out of control. Do not focus on anything but the wall. If you focus on the wall, you're gonna hit the wall. And just focus on anything else. Preferably focus on where you want to go with the car, not where you don't want to go with the car. And what ends up happening? First time out, Tony gets out of control and boom, right into the wall. Tony, what were you doing? I was trying not to hit the wall. Of course, what did I tell you? Don't do that. Don't focus on the wall. I'm not going to make the story really, really long. Tony makes it really nice and he flowers it up. Well, not flowers it up, but he really tells a nice story around it. But at the end of the day, what ended up happening is that what he learned to do is when he got out of control, he turned his head and focused his eyes on where he wanted to go with the car. And his hands followed, his body language followed, and the car followed. Now, that doesn't always happen all that way. Sometimes you're going to hit the wall no matter what happens. That's just life. But more often than not, if you focus on where you want to go, you're going to get to where you want. You're going to have that momentary failure. You're going to learn the lessons from that, and you're going to move on and go somewhere else. So that's really what I wanted to share with you. It's like, be mindful of what you're focusing on every minute of the day. Wake up in the morning, do your plan for the day, what you want your outcome to be, and you will get there. I promise you, if you set yourself a routine, and actually I'll give you another example. A couple of friends of mine, Carrie and David Bignar, on here the other day, and I love you guys. I saw you guys were on here. Was watching their Periscope the other night, and they realized something about themselves, that they have a commitment to all of us on their Periscope, and so they will be on their Periscope every single time, and without fail. And these guys are usually on, this lady and this guy are on at 11 o'clock at night, my time, and this is Central Time. And they made a decision. They wanted to get up earlier because they've heard from all of the leaders that if you get up earlier, you have a more productive day, you have a more productive business. And at the end of the day, hey, you're welcome, David and Carrie. Love you guys. Thank you. But at the end of the day, they found out if they got up earlier, they could be more productive. But they, like me, I have the same problem. That's why it really hit home for me. I have trouble getting up in the morning. And they figured out if they moved their Periscope or did another Periscope in the morning, it would force them to get up because they're focused on making that commitment, and they can make that commitment. So there's a couple of things for you. I hope you really enjoyed them. I really enjoy imparting this to you. A lot of you have heard me talk about that this year's going to blow up for me. This is still just the beginning. We are still on the launch pad. So keep following me. Please share these videos with your friends on Periscope. You'll see it show up on my blog eventually, and everywhere else I can post it, YouTube, on Facebook. Share it around if you really find value on it, because this is the beginning. I really want to take you guys with me and really take you through this journey together and show you what you can do when you keep a positive, conscious, present mindset. You're really going to go places. Love you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the hearts, and we'll talk to you all soon. Remember, stay tuned, because we're going to do the house tour. Not part of the general thing, but I want to show you a little bit of my personal life. So I'll give you a house tour later this week. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.